Yo, guys, what's up, man? It's Simon Dean, a.k.a. Nova. What's going down? You're listening to InYourHeadOnline.com. That's .com. Click it. Later.
All right, and we're back, and we are joined by Big Stevie Cool, Stevie Richards, one of my favorites. Welcome to In Your Head.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate you guys switching the time around for me, and I appreciate the fans being patient.
No problem. No problem at all. We just want to let everybody know Extreme Rising's coming up. You got two big shows, June 29th and the 30th. One's in Queens, New York. The other one's in Philly. And you can get all your information on extremereunion.net. Links right on the website. And are you happy, actually, that they are changing the name away from Extreme Reunion to Extreme Rising?
Well, I'd much rather prefer them to take the whole extreme thing out of all the names. That's my personal opinion, to try to create a whole new brand outside of that. And I'm sure you guys do that with your show and the shows I've been doing all day here in the Philadelphia area. It's just, you want to create your own brand, and every show and everything you do counts towards that. Time's very precious to establish that brand. So I don't know what they would call it, but you agree maybe take extreme out of that, because you want to kind of get away from that whole deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that was cool back then. And I know, you want to, I like the idea of using, a lot of the guys that people like to see back then, but then mixing with newer guys and growing from there. But I think if you, like you said, if you stick with the Extreme name, it kind of limits you in a way too, because, you don't want to just be known as the Extreme Wrestling Company.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what the business is all about, man. You have to pass it along to the younger generation. That's why guys like me back in the original promotion really got an opportunity, because Terry Funk, Raven, the veterans, and then Paul would bring guys in to actually help his town progress and get over. So, yeah, that to me was always, and that's what I know part of my purpose in this new promotion is to do, and I welcome that. But I think I can still pretty much go and compete at a high level with anybody. So I'm willing to actually take my career even further as well.
Mm-hmm. Is that ever weird to think about that you've become like the veteran?
The veteran thing is just kind of like, we always think of veterans that are, walking around and kind of, not being able to stand with bad hips, bad knees, all that stuff. And I've been very fortunate at the age I'm at to have the experience that I do, but also be, knock on wood, healthier and fitter than I was when I was back in the original promotion. So, man, it's just such a great blessing to be able every day try to further my fitness, and also at the same time pass knowledge along to the younger generation.
Mm-hmm. Was it fun to put on the BWO colors again?
Yeah, it was. But we all want to do the best that we can, and we all got into the business to be a main eventer, correct? I mean, that's
right.
Why you want to be the best radio show out there. And I really felt like on that show that, even though it was a great nostalgic moment, I felt like they could have done so much more with me on that show, especially with all the things that happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I understood my place. I actually volunteered to work again, to work Jerry Lynn, or to work Shane again in the main event, just because I wanted, to work again, and I wanted people to go away with their money's worth. And man, there was so much stuff out of control that the promotion and the office couldn't control. That I was just there, like I said from the beginning, just to help out. Long story short, happy with the match. I mean, the FBI was so much fun. It was the easiest match I had in years. But I felt like I really wanted to do a lot more on that inaugural show.
Mm-hmm. I guess, yeah, it's a good way to maybe bring you back into the show, but maybe you'd like to branch out from that and take that and, like you said, become the main event guy.
Yeah, that's not entirely up to me. Let's not be stupid.
Right.
All I can do is work as hard as I can. And, I got some matches cut up with Luke Hawks, and Luke is trying to make a name for himself, and Luke is, talk a lot of stuff and trying to create buzz. And, I'm gonna, hopefully, while having a really good match with him, bring out the best in him.
Mm-hmm. Actually, someone's been trying to get Luke Hawks on the show here in his area. Now, I've heard a lot about him. I saw a lot of videos he's been putting out on different guys. Have you ever worked with him before?
I knew him back in the Ultimate Warrior Luke days, and I knew he came around ECW a few times, I think. And I think I saw him in WWE. He came by, the tapings. I'm not exactly sure. He's got a different look. He's put on a lot of size. He he looks a lot. He was just a kid back then, so he looks a little bit different now. But yeah, I've heard him talking stuff on YouTube and stuff like that and everything, and it's whatever. The thing with creating internet buzz or trying to become the next Brian Pillman and do all that stuff, what it all comes down in the end, guys, you got to be a good wrestler, and I hope he's concentrating on that as much as running his mouth.
Mm-hmm. Actually, someone who kind of started all that was doing a lot of stuff on the internet. First, kind of big guy, I think, would be Matt Hardy, and he's going to be on the show. What kind of reaction do you think he's going to get in front of this audience?
That's a great question. I wish I was going to ask you that. You never know. I mean, they can go from appreciation, and they've turned from the fans in New York and Philly from the initial pop reaction, appreciation. They like what they see, and then they're like, all right, we're tired of you. You suck. You're a WWE guy. You're a pretty boy. I mean, they can go through a whole gambit of reactions from one match.
Yeah.
Match, I haven't seen anything from him on the internet, which I guess is a good thing because he's just concentrating on getting his life together and doing the right thing. So, hopefully that trend continues, man. We lost too many people to demons and just behavior that took people down a bad road. So hopefully Matt's done with that particular part of his life.
Mm-hmm. No, we had him on the show and stuff, and he's definitely a guy, I think if you ask anybody, they have opinion one way or the other. So I think that's definitely a good thing. You don't want people just kind of shrug, I think you should play up on the being a former ECW champ for the new ECW. I think that would be like he'd get like atomic heat from the crowd.
I'll tell you what I did. I'll tell you a funny story. I remember when him and those guys ran the Omega promotion down in North Carolina. I tried to tape down to them. It's a big joke between. I asked Matt about it when he's on. Before I went to ECW in '94, I was in the first match, but then I didn't try to do anything with them until '94, summer of '94. And I sent a tape down to Omega because I heard about this whole promotion with young guys like me trying to get work. And they never got back to me, and they never, answered it. So I assume they thought I sucked, and it's just a big joke between me and Matt. I mean, he might be right on that part, but I don't know. The jury's still out on that.
Yeah. Speaking of like a new place for young guys to work, is that hopefully this will be another place where guys can maybe older guys and then younger guys can work who don't really shine somewhere else.
Yeah. What's funny about the older and younger thing that you talk about? Like, it's such a pronounced thing, but you think about in the 80s, when Hulk Hogan went into WWF at the time, I think he was like 34, 35 years old when he had his run back then, the big run. And it used to be where guys really didn't get that WWF or WWE exposure. It was WWF, not A, back then, until they were in their early to mid, sometimes late 30s, when they really had 10 years under their belt on the indies and working territories and going to Japan. So I think it's a misnomer where people call me an old guy, not you, but just in general, even the promotions thinking I'm an old guy. Well, if that's the case, you better tell these 25-year-olds to start working out hard because they look like crap compared to me.
We actually kind of talked about that with RVD, and I said, I probably should, instead of younger guys, say guys that are maybe not known well or don't have a place to shine right now, not necessarily age. I mean, they could be new to people who've never seen him before. But
I wasn't saying it was you. I'm just saying in general. It's just the thought of being mature and not making being smart enough not to make the mistakes a lot of younger guys make on the road and in life. It's not such a bad thing to get older. It's kind of cool because you get to realize that you don't know anything about the world or life at all.
Mm-hmm. I mean, as a fan watching it, it doesn't matter to me. That I don't think about their age. I'm thinking, if they're entertaining to me. That's what it comes down to.
Which I'm sorry, I don't think there's a whole lot of entertaining people on TV today.
Yeah,
there's a few.
Why is that? Why do you think that is?
I think because the guys really don't have the freedom to be themselves and go out and succeed or fail on their own. That they are really kind of handcuffed by the constraints of television. It's a television show now. It's not a wrestling show. It's a soap opera. It's not a wrestling show. There's not a whole lot of room for improvisation, and that's not the wrestler's fault. That's just you're doing your job. We all go to a job every day, no matter what it is, and we have to do what the company wants and what their direction is. So, these guys, I'm sure, want to let loose and kind of be themselves or an extension of themselves, but they're handed a script, they're handed this, they're handed that, or they're given guidelines by a very, overpowering individual in a suit that has a crazy walk to the ring. I'm not going to mention any names. Who says, this is what I want you to do. What are you going to do? Say no? It's your one opportunity to be everything you wanted since you were 5 years old. What are you going to do? Say no? Throw it all away?
I don't like to just name drop everybody, but, Ian McFoley on Jericho, and they kind of talked about that where they said that, back when they were really starting to get over, it was stuff that they thought of, their own promos that they went out there and did. And, if you were good at it, that you would rise up the card. And if you weren't, you wouldn't. Is that possible to do if something's completely written out for you?
Here's an example, and people can think what they want about it, but if you ever watch Stevie Night Heat or any of the stuff that I did, where pretty much me and they were walking around, I think
that's when Heat was really good.
People really remember that, and that was a second-rate show in the eyes of the company that drew like a one or so here and there on Sunday night. So what I did was basically thought, hey, I'm on Heat every week. I better make it look like I want to be there, not that I have to be there, because that's what a lot of guys sort of look like, you can tell. Mm-hmm. So I made the show my own, called it Stevie Night Heat, then myself the GM. Somehow got pre-tapes produced and all this other stuff. The guys were all working together on the show, having fun. It was great. That was an example of me taking something and getting over. It might not be like main event style or whatever, but it was a catchy little thing, and it was good, and I had my niche, and I was entertaining. And I was allowed to be entertaining because no one was producing me and no one was kind of micromanaging me as a character. I was just having fun. And it got over to the degree that it did until they stopped it. So that's an example of, hey, I ran with the ball, I did it, but in the end, it really came down to whether the machine chose to let me do it or not.
Mm-hmm. How frustrating is that?
It's a little frustrating, but that's my point on the positive end of that is every young wrestler, everybody, I would love to see them go out there and say, Paul Heyman used to say all the time, I'd go up to him because, we were encouraged to go up to him, and it was kind of like being the court, kind of like Shark Tank in an entertaining way in ECW. You go up and go, hey, man, I got a pitch for you. We're going to do this, we're going to do that. And he'd sit there, and, sometimes he'd react and laugh or say, oh, my God. Or he'd say, I don't know. He's like, Paul, come on, man. And he was like, okay, give it a try. If it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. It's up to you. Mm-hmm. And that's really scary and exciting and great and terrifying. Everything you should have all at once with wrestling.
Yeah.
And that's what they don't have today. So, yeah, it's extremely frustrating when you're not allowed to express yourself in a character, in a promo, in the ring, because, your actions in the ring are an extension of your character, and they really can, if you understand who you are, really bring, show every bit of the way. It's like Mankind, Jericho, The Rock, Triple H, if I'm missing anybody, The Undertaker. Mm-hmm. They don't just their character on the entrance. They're their character in the, what these guys do from beginning to end. The way they put it together it might be repetitive, but you buy it every time. Mm-hmm. That's the great part about being able to control your character, and that's the frustrating part when you're not allowed to.
Yeah. I said this on the show before, was when you talk about Paul Heyman, and I think that's kind of thing you should probably want to go for from the old ECW, not necessarily extreme stuff, but just the idea of using guys that are, maybe not having a place to shine right now, and maybe using different styles. And I think there's a lot of stuff you can make in the show cool. People would really, you'd like genuinely get like emotionally attached to the characters and want to see the company do well. And I think that's the stuff you should really focus on if you're trying to get something off of the original ECW. I don't know if you agree with that or not.
Anything that can help people recognize a brand without actually saying the letters or
right. I'm sorry.
And everything.
Yeah.
People know. Here's the thing that happens in wrestling a lot. You sort of give the people, all right, it's sort of like Batman from the 60s. At the end, they ask all those questions about Batman and Robin surviving whatever, thing they're put into. The problem is in wrestling, it used to be where you would ask questions for 3 weeks, 3 months, whatever, saying, what's going to happen between so and so and so, like the Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan? What's going to happen at WrestleMania? And we'd asked that question for what, 8, 9, 10 weeks? Or actually the Royal Rumble all the way up to that back then. Now it seems like they give us the answers before we even have a chance to ask the question. They sort of hotshot things. And, I mean, I don't even understand, in my own opinion, why WWE does it, because TNA is no competition for them. They should just take their time, build characters, see what they did with Rock and Cena for a year. If they did that and just build people up for a couple months at a time and kind of circled, like every other for the pay-per-views, you know what I mean? Like build up guys for in-between pay-per-views, going into the second one, and then the third, you know what I mean? Like alternate kind of the guys are on the pay-per-views, but build them up over the course of 6 weeks. That would generate interest, in my opinion.
There's a lot of times you'll just see guys either in the main event forever, or they'll just come off like a losing streak, and all of a sudden they're just in the main event out of nowhere, and it's not very dramatic or very exciting to get into.
Well, that can work in their advantage. I like the fact that they should go back to anybody can win on any given night kind of thing, because that's what made the 1, 2, 3 kid. That was his whole push.
Yeah.
Getting destroyed, and then all of a sudden winning one match, and then he just catapulted him. It was great.
It's not the same for everybody. Each person's a different person.
Yeah, well, I just kept losing. But the funny part was about me was that I understood not only how to get people over, and I still do understand, but I always understood how to get myself over in the course of doing it, to do it the right way. Because even though people might see me in the ring and think a certain thing, they know they're going to get a good match. They know they're not going to have me get walked all over, or if I'm getting walked all over, oh, well, that's, once again, I'm just doing what is asked of me out there, and who's going to argue with that?
Intro, did you have a question?
Yeah, I had a question from the chat room, actually. Psycho Rabbit, he wants to know, when WWE was doing the vignettes about your throat surgery, was there anything else in store for that angle?
I have no idea. I just know that those words were not mine, even though it was mine. See, that's what I was saying before. Yeah, I'm talking about my life, real things I went through, but I was given lines. And I was told essentially, because I went over the promo a couple times, and it was real emotional because I really went through it. I'm still going through it today. But they said, you have to tell that entire life-changing, terrifying story in 45 seconds, because if you do it in a minute and a half, you're really not worth it. There's no way we're gonna clear that for someone like you. And that was the exact wording I got. So, but that's that's the way I was viewed. I think I could have been a really good baby face. I'm a real life role model, and I'm not being cocky. I don't do drugs, I don't drink, I don't do anything. I just train hard, don't do steroids, don't do growth, don't do anything. I might play video games too much. I might overtrain at cardio, but that's not the extent of it. So I really thought they could have put another character out there that portrayed a nice image to kids out there, and at least work hard and do what you can, and you can be even somewhat successful in anything you do.
On those lines, let everybody know about T4Show.com, if you want to explain to everybody what that's about.
Well, it stands for Tech Today, Tech Tomorrow, and it's my technology site. Myself and my buddy Colm, we review all sorts of tech stuff. We stream video games, record video games. Also have a live show. We have a podcast. We have an iOS app. We just talk about stuff to try to educate consumers. It's not a passion of mine. The 3 passions I have, guys, in no particular order, is wrestling, technology, and also fitness, which I have a fitness thing now, SRX training. And, DDP has inspired me with the DDP yoga to pursue my dream of, trying to help people get fit and help them do that, and use the technology that I have to put out content and everything. So it's called SRX Training. You can follow me there at Twitter, and also like the Facebook page. And there's going to be tons of free stuff out there, just like the tech stuff. for everybody to just do whatever they want with it. Just try to better their lives and be happier and healthier.
Mm-hmm. You ever try to get the Blue Meanie on any of this?
No, I worry about him sometimes with his weight, but he's got a double-edged sword with that because that's part of his gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Blue Meanie. So he lost all the weight before. He looked great when he did the Blue Boy gimmick.
Yeah.
And I hope he can go back to that. I don't like to see, especially somebody I care about. I don't like to see somebody at all be unhealthy. I want them to live a nice long life.
Mm-hmm. I kind of look like the Blue Meanie, only I don't have blue hair. But I remember when he was the Blue Boy, I was like, even though, like you said, he looked great, it just didn't seem right. Which I guess is like you say, double-edged sword.
Yeah. Well, we'll get you on DDP Yoga National RX training and get you back to where you want to be.
All right.
Help you out, man. It's really DDP Yoga, man. I've done it for about 3 or 4 weeks. I felt good before, but I feel great. And it's kind of like it's not your typical yoga where you're just stretching and doing these poses like everybody thinks. It's like a really good, like, imagine just flexing your muscles throughout an entire workout while stretching and doing different poses and just, upping your cardio, moving around. And he's really put a lot of thought into this. And Paige is just somebody who's kept at it for 7, 8 years. I think he's pushed that yoga, right? And
yeah.
It's really finally getting the recognition it deserves. And I don't recommend just any workout. And for people that just want to do something for their lives, especially the 40-plus crowd, I would definitely recommend DDP Yoga. And then SRX training when it comes out.
Right, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah, I do a lot of horror movie conventions, and even a lot of the guys that have done movies with them actually, are talking about DDP Yoga YRG, which I always find kind of it's interesting that he's got it out there so much.
Yeah, he deserves all the success in the world. He really is. He's not just trying to make money, man. He's out there. He gives more copies away than I've seen. So he really is just trying to get it out there, change people's lives.
Mm-hmm. Any thoughts on the Simon system?
Simon system, that's a little bit different now.
Uh-huh.
But you know what? I mean, that's one of my favorite all-time gimmicks that was done. And Simon Dean's going to be at Legends of the Ring Saturday.
Yeah.
Probably the first convention appearance. And actually know who's going to be there. And it's interesting to see. I've heard rumors that they're the same person.
It'd be very interesting to find out. Yeah.
I'll tell you a funny story. We're supposed to have. He's a twin. Nova. I know you probably know that. Donnie B's his twin brother.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm gonna ride back from my radio appearance. Wrestling Marks, Eric is driving me back to my parents' house to visit. Yeah, 95 Everybody knows everybody knows the directions to my parents' house now.
They'll all be going there right now.
Exactly. So we're gonna do a deal where for 3 or 4 weeks where people are accusing Hollywood Nova of being Simon Dean and the other way around. So we were going to have his twin come in as Nova and have Nova himself, Mike Bucci, be Simon Dean and interview the BWO on SmackDown. Which I thought would have been really funny. But as you can see, that never happened.
Yeah, I love the gimmick myself too. When we had him on, I actually asked him how that would compete against the blowaway diet, which was another one of my favorite gimmicks back then.
Oh, the Buddy Rose thing. That was great, too. Yeah. Hey, they did the vignettes the right way. That infomercial, WWE, man, that launched him to be the kind of heel that he was. Even when he was losing every match, man, people still hated him, wanted to see him get beat up. He did a great job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember it till today. Intro, was there any other good questions from the board? Or the Facebook or the chat room?
From the board, Mag, he wants to know if you enjoyed the right to censor angle.
I didn't enjoy it as much as I could have. I was in the worst shape of my life, and I didn't really do all I could have done with it from a physical standpoint. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed being in that spotlight, being able to talk and have a voice. But yeah, man, I wish I could go back and be in the shape I'm in now, because I think it would have had a lot better run.
Mm-hmm. I thought it started out like really hot, and then it kind of fizzled away. I don't know actually why it went away so quick, but I actually thought it was really good angle.
Well, you know, this is just my basic observation and maybe assumption is Jamie Morris was the writer for the right. You know, he wrote all of our stuff, and I wrote stuff with him. And Brian Gewirtz, who's the head writer of Raw, they didn't really get along from what I knew. And then Jamie left. So, you know, I don't think one had to do with the other, but basically the writer for the right to censor left. I think that Vince had sent the message out to the Parent Television Council, too, as well. So those things all come together. It just came. It did come to an abrupt end. So, but I got another, 7 years in WWE, so it wasn't like they just threw me to the wayside.
Mm-hmm. Now, real quick before I let you go, I just want to know whose idea was Dr. Stevie?
Dr. Stevie was my idea, but they were talking. But it was because they were talking about a business therapist, and I got in Terry Taylor's ear, and I said, "Man, I want to do that gimmick. That's me." You know, and I already got, you know, I was already gone from WWE, and I said, I want to be Dr. Stevie. I had a fresh start, no more Stevie Richards. I want to be Dr. Stevie, and I wanted Dr. Stevie to be the American Psycho character, Patrick Bateman character from the movie. You know, a guy that looks normal, acts normal, but turns out to be crazier than anybody else. You know, so I would be the doctor, but I'd be crazier than all my patients. And that didn't even run its course either. So, you know, they stopped doing that and brought me back. I didn't want to do the EV2 gimmick at first. I was like, man, this doctor has so much life left in it, but they said, well, we're not doing anything with you. And I said, well, okay, that's, yeah, I'll do it. I'll do anything then.
Yeah. Well, June 29th, Queens, New York. June 30th in Philly. You can see Stevie Richards versus Luke Hawx. There's quite a lineup on the show. I'm looking forward to that. Matt Hardy versus Jerry Lynn. That's going to be pretty awesome. And I know the Gangsters are going to be at one of the shows. I think the one in Philly. And go to extremereunion.net. Get all your information on Extreme Rising. We want to thank you for coming on tonight.
Thank you guys for having me. I'll be back on soon. We'll answer some fans' questions.
All right, sounds good. Sorry everybody was trying to call in, but he's on the way home here, so we couldn't take the calls.
All right. Take care, guys.
Thanks.
Hey, everybody. This is the franchise Shane Douglas, the greatest wrestler in the history of professional wrestling, just saying, Philadelphia, get ready to go back to the Extreme on April 28th. When you want the best and most lowdown on professional wrestling, you want it right here at IYHWrestling.com. These are the boys to get it from. Take it from me.